Have you ever heard the term that growth happens in silence? That's really hard to take for a lot of us type A people, right? We like to see the metrics change. We want to see the outward appearance change. We want to see our relationships change, our bank account change. And I get all that. But the growth that we ultimately want is on the inside of us. And so we have to be willing to see growth with a new lens, with a new idea. So, with that in mind, tune in because if you really want to grow, these are the steps that I am confident that you will need to take, and you'll be looking at them through a new way. Have you ever tried to grow a plant by pulling the seed from out of the dirt to make certain that there's actually roots growing and doing that every single day? You would never grow the plant and you would be frustrated. The same thing happens in life. Like we look at things and we just, okay, well, it's not growing. It's not happening. It's not changing because you keep trying to look at the seed and see if it's changing, right? You keep checking your bank account obsessively. You keep getting on the scale and, seeing that it's changed. You keep looking at your relationships the same way. And that's not how growth happens. Today, I want to share with you that we have to look at growth in a whole new way. And I want to give you an example of this because one of the biggest things that was really challenging for me was in my relationship with my husband. And I always viewed the relationship with my husband as an adversary. I know that's horrible to think about, but that was something that was so deep in my psychology that there was something that he had to prove to me in order for me to have ease in our relationship. I know some of you are like, dang, how long have you guys been married? I know, right? But I am telling you that this has been something that I have been working on because I wasn't giving him the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because I was holding on to old narrative, old ideas, and old habits that were formed way before he and I even got married. And it happened to be that I saw what I saw in a relationship with my mom and dad. And I took that same visual and I applied it to our relationship, which was a horrible way to be. But when you grow, you start to learn, you start to see the patterns. And that was a pattern that I wanted to break because it was unfair to him and it was unfair to me because I could not find myself growing in a relationship with him until I kept seeing these patterns and these narratives keep coming up. So while I wanted everything to be great in our relationship, I had to see new things in our relationship every single day. So, one of the things that I found that I had to do with my relationship with my husband, that if I heard something that triggered me, I had to slow my heart rate down because I could tell every single time I would move right into fight or flight. I would start getting a little kind of tense. I would get really kind of, frustrated inside of my body. And I had to start noticing that. And so that was the first thing that I realized that I really need to see that I'm doing that. And then how can I do something different? And this was what I started to recognize was some of the steps I had to start to take to improve my relationship with my husband. Number one, I had to take full responsibility and full ownership. There was no blame to anyone else but me, and taking a look at how I am responding to the situation. Maybe he would have done something wrong. I feel like he should have done something, but that was not his responsibility because it was me who was owning it. So the new thing that I would look at myself and say, you're doing such a good job, is when I could feel that I was really at ease when something happened. I wasn't ready to just do something, right? And when I did that for the first time, I was like, wow, that's good. Good job. And I give myself a new way of looking at myself and being so proud of myself. That is so what we all have to do. Every single time I think about looking at my life and seeing the segments of my growth with whatever that I'm trying to do, I always look at it with this new idea. Wow, that's new. And if you've been following along in our series here, we've been talking about looking at your life through what's called the new, good, grateful habit. And this video is highlighting how we can look at growth in a new way. And if you are anyone who's trying to grow in any area, let's just say that you're trying to grow better health numbers, right? Better ways of uh, responding to people in your coworkers. Let's just say you're trying to increase your finances. Everything that you are looking at, that the end game of what you want, you have to look at each step as a new day, as a new way. And when you look at it as new and amazing and awesome and good, your entire life changes. Everything changes because you're not waiting for your relationship to improve to be happy. You're not waiting for your bank account to show a positive number for you to be happy, to be joyful. You're not waiting for those scales to go down for you to be happy. Every single time you are looking at your life, at this goal, at this measurement with a new way of looking at life, you're changing. Because this is what happens with a lot of people. They get the quick fix, right? They say, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and just say, my relationship is fine. Everything is good. But you're not looking at all the micro habits that need to shift in order for you to sustain that, because then you're lying to yourself. You're doing what I like to call the fake it till you make it method. And the fake it till you make it method is not going to get you where you want to be. Think of it also like, I'm just going to shortcut this weight loss journey, and I'm just going to go ahead and just starve myself until I lose the weight. But you haven't grown with the habits to know how to deal with cravings. You haven't known what it's like to simply choose whole foods as opposed to junk food. You don't know what's it like to be around people who are normally your friends and say no without peer pressure of joining in on that food. All of those things are little small micro habits that when you look at it from this new way, that when you do shift, you go, oh my gosh, look at what I did today. That's new. That's a new thing for me, right? And you really want to give yourself tons of credit for actually shifting that. And so that is something that I want us to think about today. So I want to give you a few things that were outlined in the coaching email. That's a part of our Rise 53 Inner Circle coaching. Now, I want to just take a moment and give you a little bit of understanding of what the Rise 53 Inner Circle is all about. Our Rise 53 Inner Circle is weekly coaching messages that are given to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on Friday, we come together as a circle and we talk about these issues. We talk about the learning that we are applying to our lives as we're going through each coaching message. The beauty is that we all can come together and see our lives in a new way. We can look at the good and we can look at the grateful aspects of what it is that we're learning because we are growing. So that's the Rise 53 Inner Circle. Here are 3 challenges that you can take on this week. First is a morning reflection. What am I choosing to see new in me today? What is new about myself? That is the best thing that you can say right when you wake up, because it allows you to be able to see a shift in energy, a shift in perspective, or a shift in idea, or a shift in a mindset. Everything counts. All right. So that's the first step, a morning reflection. Second, track your micro wins. As you heard me say at the beginning of the video, it's really important for you to have an eagle's eye view on the way in which you approach everything. Did a conversation shift with you today? Did you actually overcome a craving? Did you not get upset with the coworker that you normally get upset with? Did you drive down the road without cutting someone off or speeding past them or looking at them with an angry face when you did pass them? All of those things matter because these are the little teeny weeny micro habits that will ultimately get you to your goal and change permanently. The final thing that we want you to do is to do an evening reflection of journaling. Because when you're living your life on purpose and you're living the Rise Advocates way, you are literally watching your life, living your life, and being fully and 100% present and seeing newness flow into your life. And that is going to be a heightened sense of energy. Your blood is going to be flowing more fluidly, and you're going to have a sense of ease like you've never had it before. You're going to feel like you're in control of your life. And who doesn't want that? And growth will be exponential. You will start having things coming to you. You will manifest more quickly. You will see opportunities. You will be living with a heightened sense of abundance. All good things flow to people who live with a sense of newness. Take it from me. I have done this. I have practiced this. I'm not perfect, but I am committed to it. So that's one thing that I would say is worth everything. Now, you heard me talking about the Rise 53 Inner Circle, and I am telling you, my sis, you really want to check it out. And the reason is because it is just so good because sometimes we get a little teary-eyed, we get laughing, and we get excited. I mean, there's just so much goodness with the Rise 53 Inner Circle. So we hope that you join us. And we want to say if you are a high achieving VP level corporate woman and you are ready to step lively into your life, then we want you to fill out an application for the Rise Advocates Academy. We want you to get in because the Rise Advocates Academy is our 12-week program. It's our immersive program that actually takes you from, kind of lowering yourself, living with imposter syndrome, to actually speaking your truth with love and seeing your own equity gaps closing like you never have seen them close before. So we want you to take advantage of that as well if you fall into that category. Lastly, join our newsletter list because that's where you're going to keep up with everything. And we do these videos once a week, but on our newsletter, you're going to get more frequent interaction, especially if you join our Rise 53 Inner Circle. But we do have a free newsletter option for you to entertain, and the link is in this video. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you in the next video.